So this is my third time filming this, so I'm a little cranky. Sorry, guys. So the first time the crankiness started was yesterday, which was Saturday. So as you know, I'm doing what I read in a week. So I gave you guys what happened on Friday, which was me trying to read The Midnight Feast. So I wanted to come back and talk to you guys Saturday because I happened to finish The Midnight Feast. As you know, I was just a little over halfway through the book and I was struggling with it. So I was like, okay, no biggie. I will sit down and finish this book. So I finally did take the time to sit down, get into the book, really enjoy it. I think the book started getting interesting about halfway through the book. It's told from multiple different perspectives and multiple different timelines. So you have one taking place in the past, which is told through diary entries by a girl named Allison. Then you have everything that leads up to the solstice event, which is basically the night before the midnight feast, the day of basically before the midnight feast, the night of the midnight feast. And that is being told from the perspective of four characters. There's one who's a worker at the manor, which is the new hotel that has been created or resort that's been created. One is told from the perspective of Francesca. She is basically the owner of the manor. One is told from the perspective of Owen Dacre, who is the husband to Francesca and also the architect on the project. And the story from the perspective of Bella, who is one of the guests, the mystery guest staying at the manor. And then you have future tense kind of being discussed, which is the culmination of what happened in the Midnight Feast. So basically from the point where the body is found all the way to the wrap up of the case. And that is basically interesting. That is basically being told from the perspective of D.I. Walker. And all these characters tie together somehow. And I will say that the second half of the book was really well done. I think the villain in this character was villain character in this book was very well thought out. Overall, I gave this book a 3 stars. So this is what I ended up reading all of Friday and just sat down and consumed it. Then between Friday while I was driving around for work, as well as when I got home, the book that I decided that I wanted to Saturday when I got home, the book that I really wanted to consume yesterday was The Husbands. This is the book that we're currently reading for the book club that I'm a part of on Facebook. We do an online Facebook group called the Overbooked Book Club. Once you're a part of that group, basically we vote every month on what book title we want to read, and then on a monthly basis we have a discussion. Usually it's on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or a Sunday, depending on the best day for hosting that particular discussion, and we discuss over Zoom. And I usually post the link for the Zoom discussion on the day of the discussion or the day before the discussion, so everyone has access to that link. And then the voting for the books usually take place anywhere between 2 to 3 weeks before the beginning of the month, so everyone has time to get that book. So you have about 7 weeks to get the book and consume it from the date that the posting is created. And then usually we do themes for that month. So July, I felt like contemporary fiction was the way to go. There was kind of mixed genre books actually that were posted, and the book that got selected for July was The Husbands, which is a contemporary novel. So the concept of this book is basically there's an attic that creates new husbands for this main female character, where every time she sends the husband up the attic, a new husband comes down, and her whole life changes with every husband that appears. And so basically she is telling the story of each of the different husbands she experiences and what she goes through, whether it's a rich husband, a poor husband, a husband who's a foreigner, a husband who she knew from the past because it's someone that she's dated and she never thought they would be in a relationship. So she basically goes from single to married overnight and cycles through all these husbands. And it really speaks to the concept of choice. It really speaks to the concept of, society and societal expectations. It speaks to the idea of what you're looking for in a relationship, who you are as a person, all these different things. So I think it was a really fun read. The ending really got to me. I think overall, I'm very excited for people to read this book and tell me what they think about it, because I think it's a very unique premise and concept. I gave it a solid 4 stars. I really enjoyed this book. I don't think it was a 5 stars for me because there's certain things I would have wanted to see differently. I think the ending is also kind of a cliffhanger for me personally. So I think it was a beautiful ending for this book and what was trying to be said by the author, but I'd be very curious to see if there's a second book that follows that train of thought with how that first book ends off. So we'll see. But overall, really enjoyed The Husbands, and this was my read over Friday and Saturday. I did Audible and physically read this book at the same time. So I liked to listen and read at the same time because I really liked the narration and the fact that she was British, because this book is set in Britain and I really enjoyed that. So would recommend for anyone who's looking into that. Which brings us now to Sunday. So I decided that I wanted to start multiple different books. I usually have one audiobook that's running in the background. That way I can listen to it when I'm walking or while I'm working. And then when I come home, I can physically pick up the book, listen to it, and read and highlight and all that kind of stuff. And so I decided that I wanted to try something a little outside of my comfort zone. So we're reading Butcher and Blackbird by Brynne Weaver. This is basically Dexter vibes for those who watched Dexter on TV, and I love Dexter. So I was like, this sounds very intriguing, but it's basically about two serial killers who kill other serial killers. So they are also serial killers, but they only hunt down and kill the worst of the worst of humanity. And they are basically in competition with each other, trying to kill this other serial killer that they're hunting and simultaneously falling in love. So I think it should be interesting. I'm very curious to see what it has to offer. I've heard the spice scenes are a lot in this book and very graphic, so I will be skipping those scenes. But I do think overall it'll be highly entertaining to read this book. Then I am also reading Dream More by Dolly Parton. This is the book that we are currently discussing in another book club that I'm a part of, known as Paper and Glam, run by a wonderful woman named Lisa Marie Landreth. And the books for the year are basically posted almost a year in advance. So you have plenty of time to get the book for each month with this particular book club, and we usually vote on titles about halfway through the next year. So for example, we just finished voting on the titles for next year's books that should probably be posted around September or October. So we do know what books we're going to be reading pretty quickly, and we still vote on the books, which is great. And then we have monthly discussions, usually the last Thursday of every month, with the exception of November and December because those are holiday months. And so usually those books are a little bit shorter too. But so far I've started reading this. I'm about halfway through the book, and I would say it's quite inspirational. It really talks about Dolly Parton's motivations to, support children in their reading goals and kind of what inspired her to dream and some things from her childhood that were inspirational for her. So I'm enjoying reading this. I'm very curious to see where she takes it, but so far it's been fun. And then last but not least, I finally decided that I am going to give the last book that's been released so far in the Magnolia Park series a chance. The last Magnolia Parks book, The Long Way Home, ended on a very, very sad cliffhanger, and it took me a while to recover from that. And the last Daisy Hates book also ended on a very sad cliffhanger, so I'm not sure how I'm going to recover from that. I've heard this one really gets into it. I've heard this one can get really dark. I've heard this one really lets you understand Magnolia as a character and her childhood and some of the things she's been through. So I'm a little scared to read that part. We'll see how it goes. I am not a huge fan of Magnolia's character. I think she has a lot of admirable traits. Don't get me wrong. I think she's very loyal towards her friends. I think she really truly loves her family. I think she's just looking for a little bit of love. I think she has a lot of loyalty towards BJ, which is what drives her to do a lot of the silly, dumb things that she does. And I really like her passion for fashion and how she's using that to change the industry now that she's in a role of power. And it's not just because it's nepotism and it's been handed to her. I mean, that is a part of it, but she's actually good at what she does too. So I enjoy that aspect of Magnolia. But she as a character is very difficult for me to take. And so I am hoping that as I read this book, I will enjoy it more. I'm also hoping that the next Daisy Hates book that comes out, it's more about Julian and more about Daisy Hates and less about Magnolia and more about Christian and that entire group of characters, but we'll see what happens with that too. Overall, I think Jessa Hastings is a phenomenal writer, and I think if you like Gossip Girl or anything like Gossip Girl, that's basically what these books are. I also like the fact that even though there's a lot of talk about drugs, sex, all this kind of stuff, it's all closed door, so you don't get too in-depth, in your face with those topics. So I do enjoy that aspect of this book too. But yeah, we'll see how long it takes me to finish this book. I'm hoping to be done with this book by Thursday or Friday, but again, this is a big boy. This is a bad boy puppy, and I can only read this one at home because I do like to highlight quotations and things like that. But yeah, that's what I've read so far. So I will catch up with you guys soon when I pick up more books. See you soon. Hey guys, checking back in. So as you know, we're doing a what I read in a week. So today happens to be Monday, and we'll go basically Thursday to Thursday, I think is what we're going to do for this video. But I had started last time we talked Butcher and Blackbird, and oh God. Freaking loved this book. This is a solid 4.5 stars for me. I laughed. I was grossed out at certain parts. There's cannibalism in this book. There is very, very disturbing forms of cookies and cream ice cream. There is partnerships between various serial killers and very Dexter vibes. Basically, serial killer meets serial killer in this, where the two main characters that we're rooting for, who are Sloane and Rowan, are basically serial killers that murder other serial killers. And then outside of that, they have their day lives and day jobs too. And of course, we hear a little bit about their background and their backstory because they've been through hell and back themselves, which is why the way they are. But I thought this book was hilarious. Now, this book has a ton of spice. I did end up skipping a lot of those sections because it was just a little much for me. Like, there are chapters on end with spice. I want to say around chapter 16, 17, 18 were full of spice, and I felt like didn't add too much to the story, so I just kind of skipped through those parts. And then chapter 21, I want to say, had a little bit of spice as well, so I ended up kind of skipping that part too. But I would say the overall relationship between these two characters is great. The banter is great. The high stakes associated with this dark romance, because they're also serial killers that could be murdered at any point in time in the game that they're playing and weaving, is hilarious. But basically the concept is there's these two serial killers who end up meeting. They have an instant attraction to each other, and so they decide that once a year they're going to meet up in August and they're going to play a game where there is a target that they're both going to hunt down and kill, and whoever successfully murders or wins majority out of 5 kills gets to go after the Phantom Forest killer or something like that. So very, very funny. Part 1 of a trilogy. Part 2 has already been released. It's Leather and Lark, and I am fully planning on jumping into that as soon as I'm done filming this video. The last time we talked, we were also saying how I was reading the Dolly Parton book, Dreams. That one was also pretty decent. I'm still not fully done with that book. I think I have a chapter left, which is about 30 pages. Very inspirational, very fun to read, very entertaining, but I just had to catch you guys up on Butcher and Blackbird. I also started Magnolia Parks Into the Dark and have gotten 2 chapters into that book, so we're slow moving on that one so far. But already am riveted and interested in seeing what's going to happen. Magnolia's obviously reeling from something major that's happened in her life, but she's trying to be as positive as possible. And then the Box Boys, the Box Club, the Box Set, if you will, are obviously there to take care of her, which is great. And they're all reeling with their own drama as well. So, and their reactions to what happened as well, because they obviously went through something traumatic as well. And Daisy and Julian are still nowhere to be seen. That's kind of where I'm at in the book as of right now, but can't wait to see what happens next in that one. It already has me hooked. I mean, honestly, I think 4 books in, now that I'm on the 5th one, I'm really getting a feel for all the characters, and I'm hoping Magnolia will have more depth in this one. So we'll see what happens there. I also hope that this book really shows healing between BJ and Magnolia and their growth. I think the last few books, I mean, it kind of, I felt, for me at least, got a little repetitive with the two of them. Like, I feel like they've just hurt each other so much that at this point, if they're truly going to get married and they're going to make it somewhere in life, I want to see them grow from there. But either way, that was my updates. And then I didn't have lunch today, so now I'm going to eat popcorn and watch anime. But I'll catch you guys later. Bye. Hey guys, so coming back at you for how many days now? Well, I can't do math. Hey, but I think we have so far caught up on Friday, Saturday, a Sunday, a Monday, and it is now a Tuesday. So we're doing what I read in a week. So I thought I would catch you guys up. I have been listening/reading Leather and Lark in both physical copy as well as in audible form. And I am currently 1 hour and 44 minutes left in the book. So we are a little over halfway. It has been amazing. I am thoroughly enjoying this book. Brynne Weaver has a way of writing these stories. I know they're about serial killers, and literally about serial killers who are dating other serial killers who only kill bad people. And I know that sounds very morbid, but if you like Dexter, you will like these books. I'm telling you, like, she just does a brilliant job. Very sassy pants, definitely spicy for sure in both books, and they are scenes that you can skip, which is what I did. So would definitely recommend. That being said, the other book that I had also been reading for book club was Dream More by Dolly Parton. I did end up finishing this book. As you can see, there are a few quotes that I ended up highlighting. Given the fact that this is like nonfiction and kind of memoir-y and self-helpy and just kind of Dolly Partonisms, I don't really know if I feel comfortable putting a rating on it because it's her life and her views, and that's fine. I do think there were some quotes that were really cute. Some of these were just funny. So in the back of the book, she has the wit and wisdom of Dolly Mama. Okay, and it literally says, I said a lot of things along the way that people remember, and they said I should include them in a book. Well, here I go. So I like this first one a lot. I'm not going to limit myself just because people won't accept the fact that I can do something else. And I love that. I think that's just so powerful. Like, why? Why would you ever limit yourself out of fear of what someone else will think or someone else will say? And that's something I hope to carry with me in the future as I move forward, because I feel that way about myself all the time. I'm constantly thinking everyone hates me, no one likes me, like I'm never going to succeed, what's the point, blah, blah, blah. And I think that is a beautiful way of thinking. Like the only limitation you have is the limitations you set on yourself. So I did like that, took that away from this book. And then I also just thought it was really cute that at the bottom she says, I never let a rhinestone go unturned. I love, love, love that. And then I also like the statement, you'd be surprised how much it costs to make a person look this cheap. I just love the fact that she can laugh at herself, but also appreciates everything she has and how far she's come in life. So yeah, hats off to Dolly Parton. But that's all I've read so far at this point in time. So this is day 4, 5? Can we do math, guys? Can I do math? If we're counting Friday all the way through Tuesday, and then I'm going to call it a total of 5 days because we're including Friday's reading time, which I think is not bad. So far we've finished The Midnight Feast, which I had started but finally actually sat down and finished on Friday. Then we read, after that, The Husbands. So we finished The Husbands, which is for the other book club, which will be taking place tomorrow. And then this one will be on Thursday. Then I finished this one because I obviously needed to finish it by Thursday for that book club. And then I finished Butcher and Blackbird, which I absolutely loved that book. Thought it was amazing. So funny, so great. And now we're almost 2/3 of the way into Leather and Lark, which I'm hoping to finish either tonight or tomorrow. And I'll give you guys updates on that tomorrow if I do get through that book. And then last but not least, I am working my way through Magnolia Parks. Now that book is a brick. That book is like almost 800 pages, and that's going to take me some time. And that's one book where I feel like I always like to physically read it because there's so many quotes that I enjoy and I like to highlight. And then I also really love a lot of the scenes in that book about the fashion because I love the fashion. And so that's going to take me some time. Right now, I'm right about at page 100. So I'm hoping I will get through with that book at the end of this week. I don't think I can finish it by Friday, but I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I can, because I don't want to carry that brick of a book over the weekend when we're out and about. So fingers crossed we'll be done by Friday. But yeah, that's what we read so far this week. So I'll keep you guys posted as it's coming. But yeah. Woo! Yay me! Outside of that, I did get my nails done, guys. Aren't they so cute? Summery and tropical. Like, oh my gosh, I love them. They're just so colorful and so me, the little palm trees. And then I'm wearing my Biscayet sweater. Boom, boom, boom. I'm really excited for the next book to come out. I know the second book kind of left me wanting more, and I was very disappointed in the romance between Xaden and Violet, or Violence is actually my preferred name for her. I just think that's the cutest nickname. But I loved Fourth Wing. Loved Fourth Wing. Loved the ending of Iron Flame. Very curious to see where she's going to take it from there. So now I'm super excited for the next one, and it's not coming out till January. So many books coming out, and I don't have them in my hands yet. I'm so sad. I want them so bad. The other book that I am waiting for, jaw-droppingly, is the 6th book in the ACOTAR series. I just got my best friend into ACOTAR, who you may have remembered from the interview video that I posted a little while back, but she's having a blast. She's currently on book 5, and she's like constantly filling me in on what chapter she's on and what's going on, and I love it. She's really thoroughly enjoying the relationship between Nesta and Cassian. So that's been fun to hear about. Outside of that, I really want the next book in Carrie Maniscalco's series to come out from the branch off of Kingdom of the Wicked, where she's writing about the different brothers and their sins and all that stuff. I think the next book is supposed to be Pride, so I'm very excited for that, and I hope Victoria has like a vibe going on there too, because I love her too. So I'm very curious to see what that book will entail. Last I saw, I want to say that book was supposed to release in November, so fingers crossed it will. I still need to read a novel love story, so that's still on the list for this month, which was the new Ashley Poston that just released. So yeah, lots of great books on the horizon. I'm just super excited for them. I'm also hoping that the illustrated Harry Potter book 6 comes out soon, because I would like to finish that collection as well. Working our way slowly through the Lore Olympus series as well, which has been a ton of fun. What else are we waiting for? Oh, I'm also waiting for the next book in the Nyaxia series written by Carissa Broadbent. So I'm excited for that. And then there's some special edition books that I've ordered that I really want to dig in my claws into as well. So yeah, just a ton that I need to read. That entire top shelf over there, The Deal, that whole series, and then also the Chloe Walsh books, Binding 13, Keeping 13, that whole series, and that Tessa Bailey book, and Icebreaker, and Wildfire are all books I have not read yet. So I'm also thinking I really want to just get through my physical TBR. So I'm excited to do that. I also want to read the Riley Thorne series by Lucy Score. So there's a lot to be read. There's a lot to be read on the TBR. There's also books arriving from the Illumicrate collections as well. So there's some special editions that I had ordered that I'm very excited for. So I'm hoping those will be, I'll receive them soon. They said they had shipped. I just don't know where they are in transition right now. So fingers crossed those will show up. I also want to get through the Addicted series with the Calloway sisters. So that should be fun. There's a couple more books on the 4th shelf that I need to finish. I'm just like looking at the books through the camera, guys, and trying to figure out what I haven't read. But that's not what the purpose of this whole like conversation was supposed to be. It was basically just supposed to be what I've read so far today on this lovely Tuesday evening. So yeah, that's my catch up for today. I am going to pop over and finish notes from work today because I do need to put those in for my patients. I don't know if I have any prescriptions to call in today, so I think I'm okay. But I do want to finish those notes today and be responsible. And then we are going to spend like a solid hour just low-key enjoying Magnolia Parks. And I'm also starting my fitness journey. So a lot of the Audible stuff has also been done while walking. And my excuse originally was that I didn't want to walk in 80-degree temperature. And you may be asking, it's 80 to 90 degrees outside. Why are you wearing a sweater in the house? Because I can. No other reason. No other reason. I love wearing hoodies and sweatpants and walking around in it all day long. It's just the most comfortable clothing to me. It's so cozy. And I mean, who doesn't want to read in coziness? And then also, if you saw what I got for my birthday, my sister-in-law got me the cutest little teacups. And so I am very excited to just make myself a cup of tea with that, and then use the teapot that my in-laws bought me and make myself some nice tea and sit down and hear the tea as I read about Magnolia Parks and everything that's going on in her life, because that entire book is basically a book of tea. So if you're into that vibe, definitely read that book too. But I will come back with more updates tomorrow. I do plan on finishing Leather and Lark for sure tomorrow if I don't finish it today. So I will give you guys updates on that one, and then we'll go from there. Catch you soon. Bye. Hey guys, checking in again. So I know we've been doing the what I read in a week. So today happens to be Wednesday. And I just wanted to come back at you guys and let you know that for today, we did actually, and by we, I mean I did actually finish Leather and Lark. Absolutely loved this book. I do think I liked Butcher and Blackbird more, but I think Brynne Weaver did it again with this novel. Solid 4-star read for me. I would say Butcher and Blackbird was probably closer to a 5 stars, like more like a 4.75 now that I've had time to reflect on it. This one was probably closer to a 4 to a 4.5, somewhere in that range. But excellent story. It's basically a dark horror romance where it's about a serial killer and a contract killer basically falling in love. And the first book was about 2 serial killers that fall in love. Very Dexter vibes. I think it's absolutely incredible storyline and just so funny to read. Brynne Weaver just makes it comical as well, and it's just entertaining. The side characters in this one, I think I liked a little bit more. The aunt is absolutely amazing. The family vibes is very, very beautiful to read about. So I really, really loved this book. And this is following the story of the second brother in the Kane brothers, so Lachlan Kane, and also the best friend of Sloane, who is Lark, who is also a famous musician and comes from two very powerful families in their respective industries, one being more criminal and the other one being muffins. So that was very interesting. But I think overall the story vibe was just hilarious and fun to read. Would definitely recommend to anyone who's looking for a fun, fast-paced, hilarious romance. But it is on the darker side. That being said, there is a lot of spice in this one too. The first book, I would say, had about 3 to 4 chapters that were dedicated to spice. This book is similar. It also had 2 to 3 chapters that were dedicated to spice. So if that's something that you want to skip, I would highly recommend just passing by those chapters. I will go back and try to find the exact names of the chapters where the spice was and add it in the comments if people are interested in skipping that. But if you are interested in reading the Ruinous Love trilogy, I strongly recommend it. Brynne Weaver, I think, has just outdone herself with these novels. I think they're hilarious. They're so much fun. And I can't wait for the next one to come out. It's coming out in January, and it's following the story of the youngest brother in the Kane brother trilogy and his girl. And the way that this book ended, it was a very, very big cliffhanger. So I'm really excited to see that storyline and how it spans out. And that one will be called Scythe and Sparrow. So I'm very, very excited for that. But that was basically my reading in a nutshell for today. I haven't done too much progress on Magnolia Parks. I think I've read 2 more chapters since I last talked to you guys. So I think I went from page 100 to page like 160 or something. I'm hoping to make some headway on it today. And then the other book that we have started is a novel love story by Ashley Poston. I'm usually reading 2 books at a time. And then we also had book club today with the Overbooked Book Club, which was just so much fun. We talked about the husbands, lots of existential questions there about like life and how your life would look if things were different, what drives us, what motivates us, what allows us to find our partners, that type of thing. So that was a really fun read. I did talk a little bit about that earlier in the video too when I finished the book, but I do think it was well done and would definitely recommend Holly Gramazio's book, The Husbands. I love Ashley Poston. I love The 7-Year Slip. I absolutely adore The Dead Romantics, and I like a lot of her young adult reads too, the whole Geekerella series, as well as Under the Briars and Beast and Briar. Among the Beast and Briars was also really beautifully written, and that was a fantasy. I don't know if she was ever planning on doing a second book to that series, or if it was supposed to be a series or a standalone, but whatever it was, whatever I read was absolutely fantastic. So when she released this one, I was like, I must read this, and this was released this month. So I'm very, very excited to dig into this and finish this book as well, and I just love the colors. It's just so appropriate for the summer. So super, super pumped for that. And yeah, that's what we have read so far on this lovely Wednesday. I'm going to go dig into this a little bit more and then also try to go to the gym for a little bit and then come back and wind down with Magnolia Parks. So get a little bit of reading from every angle today. But that's all for now. I will catch you guys up on whatever I read tomorrow so you guys are in tune, and then we'll wrap up with Friday and a final review of all the books that we have read. So far it's been a pretty good reading week for me. So I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye. What's up, guys? It is Thursday today in our weekly vlog. Sorry, I was chasing a cat. Today was a lot of fun. I'm actually putting clips from today's activities into the video, which I hope you guys will enjoy because, of course, we're here to talk about all things books, but sometimes you get to see fun interpretations of various things that just make it an enjoyable day. So today my husband surprised me and he did a lovely, lovely date night for us. He actually called one of our really close family friend couples, and all of us went out to a very nice dinner at a beautiful Indian restaurant, which was super cool. The drinks were amazing. The food was amazing. We had dessert where they actually lit the gulab jamun on fire. Like it was a flambe gulab jamun, so much fun. And then we went to the Clue play, which was absolutely incredible. It was hilarious. It was so funny. So many dead bodies all around the mansion. But I will say that it was a ton of fun and we had a great time. So I didn't get to read as much as I wanted to read today. However, I did get pretty decent amount of reading done on, I'm sorry guys. Let me just fix my chair here. Oy, 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 oy. Sorry, not that you guys wanted to see that, but so much better. We did have quite a bit of time in the drive time to read, and then this morning I actually woke up a little bit early. I was going to do yoga today, but I was honestly just exhausted and I just wanted a couple of minutes to enjoy my coffee and read. So I ended up making decent progress through one of the novels I'm reading, which is a novel love story by Ashley Poston. This book is adorable. So the concept of this book, and I think the thing I love about Ashley Poston as a whole, is that every single novel that she writes has a hint of magic, like a hint of magical realism. Like The Dead Romantics is basically about a woman who can see ghosts, and then you have the 7-year slip, where the apartment basically takes you back in time or forward in time by 7 years, usually past time. So you can walk in the door and you'll be in a completely different time period. And then this book is about a girl who has gone through a terrible breakup. She and her friends are part of a romance book club, which they get together and they talk about all things books, and they love it, and it's steamy and it's fun. And this is kind of her comfort place, her whirlwind place, the place where she gets to just relax and enjoy herself and have a grand old time, because she had a terrible, terrible, terrible thing happen to her, which is basically being left not quite at the altar, but right before the altar. So she's with the man and then he just kind of disappears on her. And now she finds herself going on vacation alone, because the vacation that was planned between her and her best friend's unable to make it because her boyfriend is sweeping her off to a foreign country. So now our main character is alone and she's like, well, I might as well go on this vacation by myself. I've paid for it. It's booked. I might as well go. And she somehow finds herself trapped in her favorite love story, which has been a series. And the series never got completed because the author who was writing the series wound up dead. And so now no one has a conclusion to what's going on with this series. And now she finds herself stuck inside of this world. If you're a fan of Gilmore Girls, if you're a fan of Heart of Dixie, if you're a fan of any of those small town vibes, this book is for you. If you like a little bit of magical realism, this book is for you. If you like romance, fun, fuzzy, happy, uplifting books, this book is for you. I think Ashley Poston just has a way of combining romance and a little bit of mysticism, magic, something just to add a little bit of flair and happiness to all of her books. And they just feel like cuddles, like literally warm, fuzzy cuddles that you get to just hang out with. And I absolutely love this book so far. So at this point, this book has a total of 357 pages. So this has 357 pages. I am currently on page 201. So I do think I'll be able to finish this book tomorrow to wrap up what I read in a week. And then outside of this, the other book that I have been reading is Magnolia Parks, and I do hope to finish this through the weekend. I don't think there's any way in heck that I'm going to be able to finish it by Friday, because this is a massive book. And this is one book where I like to take my time with this. So basically the other books that I've been reading, Lark and Leather, Butcher and Blackbird, A Novel Love Story, The Husbands, all of these books, I can work out and listen to them. I can drive and listen to them. I can also physically sit down and read them, and I love doing that. But with Magnolia Parks, this is one book where I really enjoy the quotes and I like the writing style, so I do have to take my time to actually sit down and delve into these books and literally sit there and highlight, make notes, comments on everything that Jessa Hastings is putting into these books. It's such a labor of love. And I love fashion. I love fashion. It's a passion of mine. And so I think I really enjoy highlighting the fashion scenes. I also really love the dynamics between Magnolia and her box set. I also really, really just love some of the metaphors and the quotes that Jessa Hastings puts into these books. And so I do take my time. As you can see, I'm not that far into the book and we already have so many tabs going on here. Each of the color-coded tabs do mean something different. So I am enjoying this. At this point, I am 125 pages into this book. I think I said I was at 160 yesterday. I don't know what I was smoking yesterday. I apologize. By the way, I don't smoke, so I'll put that out there too. But whatever I read yesterday, it was not at all where I thought I was in the book. But I'm about 120 pages into this book now. I am absolutely loving it. I'm eating it up. It's so much fun. It kind of picked up where the last book stopped, and so it was a little heartbreaking, but at the same time, it's kind of fun to see how the different characters, not fun, it's kind of beautiful, I guess is the word I'm looking for, to see how these different characters are dealing with the situations they're put in. And I have a newfound appreciation for Magnolia just because of how terrible her family is. And I have a newfound respect for BJ, Henry, and their family, and especially their mom, because of how amazing she is. I think family upbringing and family relationships are so important to who we are at our core and our level of, you know, self-esteem and our self-worth and love for ourselves, our value systems. All these things are oftentimes built upon the relationships we have with our family and our friends. And so I think it's really beautiful to see that depicted so nicely here, where you kind of get this world of luxury and money and just like super, super rich people. I mean, these are people who have billions and billions of dollars in their bank account, and they have so much money they don't know what to do with it. And it's just unique to see characters in that realm dealing with some of the things we hear about, like family dynamics where parents aren't really there for their kids, or being raised by an au pair, and affairs and all that kind of stuff. So it's interesting to read that vibe in this book, if that makes any sense. But this is basically Gossip Girl in a book. If you liked Gossip Girl being set in America, this is basically the London version of Gossip Girl, essentially. So definitely would recommend this. I will do a wrap up and do a full Magnolia Parks universe dive in series, feels, updates, thoughts as soon as I finish this book, because that would put me through all 5 books that have been released so far. And I can honestly say that I will be reading any other Jessa Hastings books that she puts out, and honestly I will be getting the European covers, because these covers are gorgeous. I mean, look at that artwork, man. So much better than just a pair of shoes, in my humble opinion. But I also love the fact that the spines are all beautifully done and they all have the lovely, lovely lettering. This one happens, you can't really see it on camera, but this one happens to be in gold and it's shiny and it's just so pretty, and I love it. I love it. So I am excited to be carrying this brick around with me this weekend and checking out some coffee shops and just sitting and reading. It's gonna be a grand old time. So I will get back to you guys with that, but that is basically what I've read so far on Thursday, and then I'll insert a few little clips from Clue as well as dinner in case you were interested in that. And I will be back for our 1 week reading wrap up tomorrow, when I come back with what I finished reading for the week and final thoughts. But I will catch you guys soon. Bye. This is so cool. I have to show my mom. She would love this. So cool.
The raita?
The raita's so cute.
You want one more?
No, I'm good for now. Thank you.
Yeah, it's really good.
Dinner time.
Oh wow, that does look good.
Oh, wow. Gorgeous.
Ooh.
Yeah, because it's ethanol, the flame is not really visible.
Okay. Very pretty. Hey guys, so it's that day. It's Friday, the last day of the reading vlog. It's not even a vlog, really. It's just what I read in a week. I don't know why I said that. Sorry, guys. But coming at you with final thoughts on the book that I did finish today, and that would be Ashley Poston's A Novel Love Story. 5-star read for me. Absolutely amazing. It's like a hug. It's like being wrapped in a hug. It's beautiful. It's such a darling story. This story, I kind of briefly talked about it in the video clip yesterday, is basically about a young woman who has had her heart broken, doesn't know what her next steps are, and finds solace in love like stories and basically novels. And she happens to be going on a vacation to a cabin when her car breaks down. And the place where her car breaks down happens to be a novel. It's literally a fake town written in her favorite romance novel, and now she's stumbled into this area. And the author of this series unfortunately had died very young in an unforeseen accident, and now this town is just laying in wait for someone to come and wake up the story and finish the endings that needed to end. And it was so beautiful. It's exactly what I needed right now. It spoke to my heart really about the value of friendships, the value of family, the value of relationships in your life, your value systems, your morals, and what defines a healthy relationship, what defines being with a person that brings out the best in you. And I think it was just exactly what I needed. So would definitely recommend this. And I will talk more about this book and go more into depth in the final what I read in July review. I know we still have a few days. Right now it's July 26th. So I do think I'll be able to finish at least 2, maybe 3 more books in the period of time before the first. I've just been having a glorious reading month, and I'm very excited to literally take a weekend to just sit and read. So I'm super excited about that this upcoming Saturday, Sunday. So I will get back to you guys on that as well. But that was my wrap up for this, which brings us finally to the totals of what I read in a week. So I ended up reading a novel love story, 5-star read for me. I ended up reading Dream More by Dolly Parton. Again, didn't rate this book because it is a memoir, something that she's talking about from her personal experience. It did have some cute quotes in it, and it was really fun to discuss it with the Paper and Glam ladies when we did a book club. Then we had The Midnight Feast by Lucy Foley, which is our thriller for the month of July. This one was fun, fast-paced. The ending was great. I wouldn't say super fast-paced, actually, because the first half took me some time to get through. So if that's okay with you and you don't mind taking your time getting through the first half of the book, then it is fun. The main characters are great. The villain is very well written. Overall, I think it was a fun book to read, but a solid 3-star read for me. Then we had Butcher and Blackbird. I will be thinking about this book for years to come. It is absolutely ridiculous, and it is absolutely amazing, and it's not dark. Like, I was expecting true dark horror, and I was a little nervous to read it, but this was actually so funny, so much fun. Loved the banter, and I liked the fact that, you know, when you read a romantasy, you want that high stakes romance, which is what makes it fun. This also has high stakes, but in a different kind of way because they're serial killers. So it's great. I think Brynne Weaver outdid herself with this novel. Lots of spice, though. Definitely can skip the spice scenes, though. So if you're not looking for that kind of spice and you want to skip it, you can. I skipped it, and I did not lose out on any of the plot line of the book. But loved this book. Solid, like 4.5 to 5. Somewhere in that range. Not quite a 5, not quite a 4.5. Somewhere in that range. But no, I'll reflect more and come up with an actual number. Who knows? By the end of the month, if all I think about is this book, maybe it'll be a 5-star. Then we had Leather and Lark, which is a 4 to 5 star, 4 to 4.5 stars for me. This one was also quite excellent. Second book in Brynne Weaver's The Ruinous Love Trilogy series, which is basically following the 3 brothers and their love interests in the Kane family. So this one is about the eldest brother and his romantic partner, who also happens to be the best friend of the main female lead in Butcher and Blackbird. Also about a contract killer and a serial killer. Excellence! Just such a unique concept. I really enjoyed reading it, and it's a lot more fluffy than you might actually be expecting. Like, there is a lot of gore, there is a lot of like murder and like craziness happening, but it's well done. Then I read The Husbands by Holly Gramazio. This is the book that we read for the Overbooked Book Club, which we meet on usually Tuesday, Wednesday, or Sunday in the month, and we thoroughly enjoy those meetings. This book was excellent. It was one of those books that really makes me think and reflect on society as a whole, what defines relationships, love, what is the benefit of being thrust forward in your life, what is the beauty in relationships? What is the danger of too much choice? Like, so many things to think about, so many subtleties that are pulled into this book. And I think it was absolutely wonderful and excellent. And I would definitely recommend. This was a solid 4 to 4.5 stars for me. Not quite a 5-star. I don't know why it's not quite a 5-star. I don't think it's because the book doesn't deserve a 5-star review. I think it just hit me weird. And so because of that reason, I'm not quite ready to put it at a 5-star. I think the ending was well done. The beginning was good. There's just certain sections where it didn't sit right with me. And I think that's all it is. But overall, excellent book. Would definitely recommend to many people. And I'm not a huge fan of contemporary fiction, but I really, really enjoyed this one. And then last but not least, I did not finish this book. I'm nowhere near finishing this book. This is 700 pages. We're only like at page 120 still. Didn't get a chance to read last night because it was a busy night, unfortunately. So by the time I got back home from work, did my notes, had book club that I joined, and then went out to dinner, went to the play, did my work notes for all my patients when I got back. It was already midnight, and I was like, I need sleep because I knew I was driving far for work today. I had a 45-minute commute this morning. Without traffic. So it just didn't happen, but I'm already enjoying this book so much, and I'm very excited to see where Magnolia and BJ take us through this journey. And that would wrap up Magnolia and BJ's side of the story at least. And I'm very excited for any new Daisy Hates books that Jessa Hastings writes for us, because they really do pull at your heartstrings. But for me personally, I'm a big Daisy and Christian fan, so I'm very excited to see how their story ends. But before we get to them, we have to finish Magnolia Parks. So I am working my way through this, and that is a reading wrap. So thanks for joining me this week, guys, as I read through a week and kind of had a chance to reflect on what I've read and how it was and how much reading I'm actually doing in a day. And I can honestly say that I read physically, like picked up this book and physically read this book probably 30%. I physically picked up and read this book probably 50%. I physically picked up and read this book probably 50%. I 100% physically read this book. I 100% physically read this book. I 80% audibled this book and 20% physically picked up this book. And then this is 100% physical read for me. So I will say that Audible plays a big role in how quickly I consume books, but it's also just because I'm on the road all the time. And I am not the type of person who can sit and listen to music the whole time. I'm also not huge on podcasts. So novels are great because it's just a way of like feeling like someone's telling you a story and you get to enjoy it and you get to, cherish it. But then when I want to sit down and read, I also have the books at home, so I can physically pick up the book and enjoy it too, and just traverse into these worlds. So thank you so much for joining me as I had a little bit of escapism and got to check into these lovely novels. And thank you to the author for writing them, because they are genuinely wonderful escapes and just make you think so much about life, and you get to live, I feel, a million lives when you're a reader, because every single book that you pick up and read, you get to experience that. And I think that's so precious, and it keeps the imagination alive. So once again, thank you for joining me here in J-Bay's Corner, on this corner of the internet, as we talk all things books. Thank you so much for being here today. If you like bookish content, then you are definitely in the right place. If you're coming back to visit, welcome back. And if you're new to the channel, thank you for stopping by. Definitely consider hitting that subscribe and notification bell. I put out videos every Wednesday and Sunday, and I can't wait to share more bookish content with you guys soon. Sometimes there is some sprinkling of randomness in there too. Maybe a little bit of fashion, maybe a little bit of travel, but for the most part, we're all about the books. So thank you again for joining me, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye, guys.